represent a group of residents and volunteers from Whitefield Ward. We are also very active in Mahadevpura zone. So we asked a lot of residents on what questions they would like to ask you. We collated some of them, and there are some questions we chose that we want to ask on behalf of the house. I hope we'll have a very candid discussion around some of these questions. So the first question is actually about tax devolutions. On one side, at the state level, we have seen statements being made by the government saying for every rupee that we give to the central government, we only get 15 paisa, right? Now, we understand that. We want to know that if you get elected, how you want to handle that. And just bear with me, and I want to extrapolate that question. Now, even within the Bangalore city, right, we have around 4 Lok Sabha seats out of 28 in Bangalore. And then around 28 MLAs out of 224 from Bangalore, right? That's roughly around 12 to 13% representation of MLA and MPs within Bangalore. But if you look at the population in Bangalore, we are almost 25% of the state's population. Even though geographically we are only 0.4% of the state, we contribute to the GDP more than 40%, almost 45%. Somewhere we feel that even within the state, the tax devolution between the state and the city is not equitable. Right? Now, at the same time, you look at Mahadevpura. Again, you must have seen that for the first time in BBMP, we raised around 4,000 crores of revenue. 25% of that revenue came from Mahadevpura. So within Bangalore, also Mahadevpura feels that we haven't had our appropriate share of tax devolution. So the question is, can you share your thoughts on some of the statistics that I just spoke, and how you are going to ensure that there is a more equitable tax devolution to the city as well as to Mahadevpura?
Actually, that's a very good question, and I was expecting that as well. See, we have had a protest, my tax, my right. So the whole tax issue came into the focus when we had the drought, we rather still have the drought situation, where we required 19,000 crores and we didn't get any help from the central government. And when the 15th Finance Commission was formed and the way the tax relation was formed where 15th, this happened at the 15th. And then what happened? It's a fact that for every 100 rupees we pay, 13 rupees we get back. It's approximately 13 rupees. So the whole issue came up because every time Karnataka was not asking for funds, but this was a very drastic drought situation. But having said so, the 15th Finance Commission also had recommended some extra additional budgetary allotments to the state of Karnataka. Because even when we went and requested the 15th Finance Commission, but that also never came to the state. So going further, I totally agree with you. What happens for a city like Bangalore? We have a lot of people migrating from all over the country to Bangalore, not vice versa. So there's a lot of pressure on the city to, when lakhs of people are coming into Bangalore. If Bangalore has to be sustainable and a good city, the state funds are required and the central funds are required. So center should stop seeing Bangalore or as a, it has to, even in the interest of the country and the center has to allocate additional funds for Bangalore city. Why I am saying that, and even when we are not able to, now you said Mahadevpura, I totally agree with you, 25%. So we have to devise a system where sometimes, yes, it is a fact that other states or other parts of the country have to be developed, but when you have an international city where Bangalore is trying to compete with Singapore, Dubai, or all those places and trying to get it, we need to give that additional funding and additional care to Bangalore. We need to make this exception. So somewhere, the 16th Finance Commission, we have to have a better representation, better understanding of the situation, because you can't reach all the parameter, all the cities the same. You have to see what is important, what is not. And why I again go back to the central funding issue. See, for example, a place like Bengaluru Central. Now, suburban rail, you need funds. You need more additional funds to do that. You have a metro, which is one of the slowest metro constructions in the country. You need funds. The Sarjapur metro line, you don't need 1 year to get a clearance to get the construction line from Sarjapur metro line. Again, for example, Hospital to Damsandra metro line, you need to move on these things. You can't expect. Now, and one more thing, what's really happening around, when you said Mahadevpura, because I also travel quite a lot through Mahadevpura. And your metro, your suburban rail, your outer ring road. Budget, they said outer ring road 3,000 crores allotted, but the money has not come. Same thing, one very important factor I always feel about Mahadevpura, it is highly developed, a lot of good buildings, but I don't know how many of you will observe. Show me one great, your lakes are choking, your water ground recharge is not there. And tell me one place like you have a Kaban Park or a Lal Bagh in Mahadevpura region. Where are your parks? What I mean to say, development is not infrastructure means. You should have your metro, you should have your outer ring road, you should have your suburban railway, you should have your mass transport system, you should have your, even walking is transport, you should have good pathways to walk. Okay, that's the basic thing what we can do. And I always say, why can't we acquire land to have lakes, parks? That's a quality of life. Your quality of life is not just fancy buildings and pollution. Or today the weather, what's happened in Bangalore. Why I go back when I started my opening statement that I was born and brought up in Bangalore. We never used to experience a temperature like 37 degrees when we were young. Our temperature would never go beyond 33. That's why we need more funds. If you want to, you can make a whatever, but if you want a sustainable city, a place like Bangalore, which generates so much revenue, should get additional funds to keep the city going. Otherwise, you've seen examples of cities like Detroit, or today you can compare yourself to, I hope that never happens, Cape Town. Because nobody wants to come to a place where there's no water, the amenities are not good. That's what